Hey, Chris.
Hey, Will. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hey, Andrew.
Are we waiting for community contributors or is nobody there? Like,
We're-
is there?
No one's joined yet, but let's see. There's Christos.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. We're still waiting on folks to join. Got all the GitLab people though, which is great. Hopefully we didn't scare everyone away last month.
Maybe we didn't promote it so heavily this time.
Yeah, I know Christos had the, oh, here we go. Okay. We've got one person.
Gave reminders on a yesterday, today, Monday. I don't know. Maybe Twitter last time worked better.
All right,
Good.
one person's joining, at least. Here we go.
Also, it's like most of the times there's not a specific like we've been running coffee circles different days, different times, and we couldn't find a golden rule, let's say golden time that we could have a lot of people. Tuesdays, most of the times we have people when we do it, but Tuesdays like in 2 hours from now. We do it like I don't know what's your time, local time zone, but we do it like 2 hours from now, which is a bit late for Asia. But we get quite a lot of people participating, that's for sure. Siddharth. My recommendation, in case that we don't have anyone else joining, is like maybe go through and record the call and go through the topics. I know that people are, we can live stream. Sometimes we get people on the live stream, so.
Shall we start?
Yeah, sounds good to me. All right, and looks like we got one more person join, Missy. All right, cool. And if others join, they could catch up and we could catch them up as well. So Okay, let's get started. So hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. This is the release stage community office hours for September. We'll start with some introductions on the GitLab team side, and then intros for the community members in the call, and we'll dive into our agenda. Does that sound good to everyone? All right, so GitLab team. So I'll start. My name is Chris Polani. I'm the product manager for the release stage, and I'm the host for today. And then I'll call on someone so we keep going here. Will, you want to go next?
Sure. So my name is Will Lighthizer. I'm a senior UX researcher at GitLab and support the release team along with several other teams as well. Next, Andrew.
Sure. I'm one of the senior front-end engineers here on the release team, and I'll shoot it to Andre.
Hello, everyone. I'm another senior front-end engineer in the team. I recently joined, still learning my ropes here and getting around the processes and the code base. But yeah, it's great to be here. So then next, Shinya.
Hi, I'm Shinya, senior backend engineer in release group. Happy to be here. Who is the next? Sorry, I joined late, so please speak up. Someone.
I can go next. I'm Vlad. I'm also a senior backend engineer on the release team. I'm in Amsterdam, and nice to see you, Siddharth and Missy. And Alan can go next.
Hi, I'm Alan Cook. I'm a backend engineer on the release team located in Kentucky, USA. Ahmed, you want to go next?
So I'm Ahmed, and I'm also a senior backend engineer here at the release team. I'm currently in Cairo, but I'm based in Berlin. So just traveling for the moment. But yeah, that's it. Who else? I think Emily didn't introduce herself yet.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily, and I'm a product designer on the release team. Normally based in Toronto, Canada. I'm in Oslo right now. And yeah, I think Christos is the only one who is.
Hey, Christos, content contributor, senior program manager, responsible for content contributors. Happy to have you all here. I am based in Berlin, but currently in Thessaloniki, Greece, my hometown.
Awesome. I think that was all the GitLab folks. And Siddharth, do you want to do intros for yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Siddharth. Currently I'm doing GSOC with GitLabs, working with Gitly teams. I'm done with my project, so yeah, happy to be here.
And Missy.
Yep. Hi everyone, I'm Missy. I'm a backend developer, just community member. I'm working on a PR for the release team, so I'm happy to be here and see everyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining. And those of you also watching later, thank you for watching this session. So let's go, actually quick poll before we start. Who's been to an office hours before? Cool. Okay, we got some experienced contributors already, so that's great. And so our main topic today, thank you for coming back, and it's great to see you. Our main topic today is contributing to front-end features, and Emily Bauman, our product designer, will lead that session. So I'm going to pass it over to Emily.
Cool. So hi everyone, my name's Emily, and today we're going to be talking about contributing to GitLab UX and frontend. So I'll be talking about contributing to GitLab UX, and then Andrew will give a presentation on contributing to frontend features. So pretty much GitLab, you're able to contribute open UX features, and there's a few ways you can do that. So the UX department at GitLab uses Figma. So if you're a designer we have our Figma project that is open. You can kind of use and see our designs. We have a design repository for documentation with details on working with these files. So I've dropped these into the agenda, but I will also share my screen and walk through some of this. So just give me 1 sec. I think it is, there we go. Cool. So GitLab uses the Pajamas UI kit, which I will open here. Oops, we're in the way. There we go. So the GitLab component library, if you're interested in contributing any UX related features or creating UX issues, you can come into our component library. This is where you'll be able to find our design assets, components, and styles for the GitLab design system. We also have like a nice link here on how to contribute, and then visit GitLab design to learn more about design here at GitLab. So yeah, you can use Figma to create your mockups, and but we'll gladly just accept if you want to sketch them on paper, get just very basic ideas done for that. Those are cool too. And you can find other design resources and documentation in our design system and use it see where we use common design solutions and all of that. So this is if you want to contribute a completely new feature, completely something new, you have a UX idea you want to get out there. Sketch it out on paper, use our design system, everything is, and designers from GitLab can help you out with that. We're also open to contributing to our design system. So if you see a component that we do not have yet, or component you want to work on and fix up, you can also go into Pajamas design system and the UI kit and just follow our typical contribution guidelines in our handbook. So I've left the Pajamas design system link here. You can use this, kind of go through what we have so far, figure out if there's anything that you have an idea for, components you want to work on. We're open to contributions to our design system as well. And finally, we have other UX issues. So we have a list of available issues that are currently accepting UX contributions. You can find issues that do not have an assignee in that list and add workflow design and community contribution labels. You can also mention UX reviewers to request they assign it to you. And then similar to regular community contributions, create an issue and upload your designs to the design management section. And yeah, that's kind of how that works. And if you have any questions, we do have a tag that tags UX designers to review for you. And then finally, the most exciting part of this is we have hackathons coming up and Pajamas Migration Day tomorrow, which Andrew will be touching on a little bit more. But in this hackathon link down here, we have our upcoming hackathons and some open issues that kind of you can jump in and join. So this is a great area to find kind of open UX, open front-end issues that you can jump into and kind of see. So yeah, that's the basics of contributing to GitLab with UX. Before we move on to front-end, love to open it up to see if anyone has questions.
Should I have one? Thanks, Emily, for describing all of this. I didn't know some of this. Actually, I clicked on the accepting UX contributions and I don't see many issues there. Is it something we will fix or?
Yeah, so this is actually due to like the UX movement right now. Some of the UX links are broken, but those are being fixed in the next few weeks. So that's an unfortunate thing that's just this week. Some of our UX handbook pages and links are a little broken, but we are in the process of fixing that.
Yeah, but I was speaking about this. If you just click on this, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is, there's recently been a movement with UX and things are currently moving around. So I think the labels are changing. So hopefully we will be fixing this up in the future. There should be things under here, but I'm seeing now there's nothing. But when there are available UX issues, they'll be kind of in this section.
Okay, Yeah, actually, if you remove everything except the accept UX contributions, there will be one issue there. So at least one is there.
So I think there is something wrong with currently the UX link. So hopefully we will get to fixing that in the next week or two.
Glad, or they're all completed by the community already. Maybe that's something. Any other questions for Emily about the design system or UX issues? Cool. Andrew, looks like you're next.
My goodness. So much less of a presentation and more a handful of tips on how to have a nice, smooth front-end review process, especially as a contributor. Familiarize yourself with the front-end development guides because, screen sharing isn't working, so you get to look at my face instead, unfortunately. The front-end development guides kind of are the core of how we code with regards to things like style and a lot of tips on testing and Vuex and GraphQL. The most important one I would say is probably Vuex, but after that, testing, because later on, because we are quite a test-happy company, especially on the front end. And I think most of the time when I see community contributors or community contributions, there's always at least one or two test snags. Quite a bit of the release features are still in HAML and not Vue, which means that if you're having trouble kind of finding a component file for your issue, it is likely still in HAML. And it comes with it like a different set of tips, like using, I think we recently introduced things like Vue component, which is some sort of fancy Ruby on Rails business that I'm not super familiar with. And we have some lovely GitLab UI helpers in the HAML land as well, so you're not completely on your own for styling components. The community contributions review guide is quite helpful to know as well, mostly because it gives you kind of an overview of what's expected of us when we're reviewing your code. And I don't know, it's just good to know. When it comes to the actual implementation side of things, if you can use GitLab UI utility classes wherever possible, it'll save us all a lot of pain. If the utility doesn't exist, you can always contribute it to the GitLab UI project. They're generally very small, and as long as you give a reasoning like, I need to use this to implement this issue, the whole review process is quite smooth. However, if that's kind of time consuming or then we can always add it to the utilities.scss file within GitLab. I don't have the full path memorized, but it's probably like application asset styles something utilities.scss, and we can make a follow-up to add it to GitLab UI later. If any feedback doesn't make sense at any time, feel free to reach out. We want so much for these contributions to be merged. We, generally speaking, will be more than happy to help either implement the feedback that we've given or clarify a few things or anything else. Like I said earlier, we're a little test happy, so the more tests we have, the better. If you get busy, if life happens and you just can't finish an MR, let us know, and we're also happy to pick it up and take it the extra mile, get it merged. Your pipelines as a community contributor don't actually run all the jobs that we need to clear to get code merged. But there is a script called static analysis within the project that should run everything. The biggest thing I think I've noticed from reviewing community contributions is that the Git Commit Message stuff is kind of the biggest hurdle. especially when it comes to change logs. As community contributors, you can put a change log on pretty much anything. We have stricter guidelines for ourselves, but we want to give you all as much credit as we can for contributing to the project. So that's an important step to not miss out on. And tomorrow is Pajamas Migration Day. There will be lots of small issues to pick up and lots of fervent Pajamas migration reviewers available to get all of these issues closed as quickly as possible. The issue lays out some good options for contributing based off of your skill level, and we'd be happy to see all of the release related Pajamas migration issues just go away. I'll be out there doing my best to help with that as well. Those are the hot tips for smooth code reviews. I'm sure I've missed a few if any of the backend engineers want to chime in. And if anybody has any questions, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Any questions for Andrew? For Emily? So hello, Marco. I saw you just joined a little bit ago. Welcome. Good to see you again. Okay, we have a few other topics for the agenda today. The next one is about our labels, or community contribution related labels. We did go over this last month, and I know many of you were here last month. So instead, how about we ask, do people have questions about the labels that we use today? I know we use a lot of labels, so there might be some questions. No? Cool.
Maybe I do.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
No, I just like Emily before mentioned about the accepting UX contributions, and generally we're trying to use the seeking community contribution as a label for catered issues. So I was thinking whether you would consider maybe renaming, or instead of like accepting UX contributions, using the seeking community contributions and the UX label. So it's going to be easier for people to figure them out. So yeah, so I'm just trying to be more consistent in terms of the labels, because we try to communicate them to our contributors. So just an open question, and yeah.
I'm very open to that as well. It seems like the accepting UX contributions label is one that's not being really used anymore. And I think it would be helpful to kind of like simplify all the labels into one. So I agree with that sentiment. Is if we're migrating labels anyways, let's kind of simplify them all and get them into one type of label, so we have less to remember too.
Thanks.
Real-time iteration on our process is what's happening right now. This is great. Cool.
I have another one.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm just checking the community challenge. Is this something that we're still doing, or everything else is pretty straightforward? Low-hanging fruit, the good community contributors, seeking community contributions, accepting request. The community challenge is something that you're actively doing, or?
So it looks like there's a lot of community challenge issues, just not a lot of community challenge release issues. So we might need to do some backlog grooming to find some good options there.
My question is that whether the community challenge, as far as you know, is still taking place as an initiative. That's because, as far as I know, we don't do it anymore. So maybe we need to remove the label. We have the hackathon. We have labels like seeking community contributions, and there's the community challenge, which was like a really old effort where every month, in a way, teams were like using this challenge to motivate contributors. And so my question is like whether you're doing it, and if not, we can start deprecating it.
I don't believe we are. We can double check. And yeah, it looks like there's no release ones. I pulled the list for just across GitLab, and there's quite a bit. So I'm not sure what's populating that label right now, but we're not. And then I agree in general of yeah, simplifying and paring down.
All right, let me remove that. Sorry, I'm using this Office Oracle as like a way to reach out to different teams as well, instead of scheduling a call with various teams.
Sure.
So let's ignore community challenge for now. That's all for me. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. Any other questions or comments about labeling?
Actually, maybe we can show what Andrew was talking about.
Sure.
The labels for pajama migrations. Maybe just
yes.
how to find those issues.
Sure. Give me 1 second. Andrew, did you have a link for that?
So the link is to the issue for the overall day, and it has all the information.
Oh yeah. Cool. Okay, give me 1 second. Share my screen. This the one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the biggest issue, or the biggest label to know, is the pajamas migration day issue. I think that most of the issues will be labeled with that one if they're related. And there are a few epics, but I think those are linked in the how to contribute section.
Yeah, I see these main epics as well.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is the best issue to take a look at for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Folks can kind of click through and navigate to see which issues they might want to contribute to. Cool.
Lots of Haml stuff there, if people are interested in doing Haml things.
I think we got a new person that joined actually. Anshul, are you there? Can you hear us? Maybe they're listening in the background. Cool. Okay, so that's labels. And oh yeah, Marco, did you have looks like you're about to ask a question.
Yeah, I was only taking a look at the pajama migration day issue, and I was looking at the description, and the pajama migration day Slack channel is internal on the GitLab Slack platform, right? Yeah. Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
But you should feel free to ask us questions on the issue or any of the specific ones if there's questions or comments. We'll happy to have that conversation there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, which really is about feedback from you all. So this is our second release stage focused office hours, and Christos and others and the other team members host other office hours. But for us, we wanted to maybe get some feedback from our last session about how some of you kind of find issues and understand what needs to be done. And so we'll start with how about we talked about labels, but curious to know from you all how finding an issue works for you. How do you kind of figure out and discover what to work on? How do you go about doing that?
Only related to the release stuff or in general?
Oh, in general, yeah, in general.
Well, since I started talking, well, I work on something that I need. For example, all the time tracking related stuff that I've done is because I need to work on time tracking because we need it at work. So I'm pushing that forward. But other than that, apart from searching around, maybe looking at the list of issues, maybe filtering for front end, back end, and those kind of stuff, and trying to see if there's something interesting, maybe. Other than that, not always I work on an issue. For example, if I see something, for example, all the UI improvement that I done because I saw the problem and I just tried to fix it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. That's great. Sounds like a little bit mix of everything.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, that's great. And when you said searching around or filtering, like, how are you doing that? Are you using sort of the labels that we talked about or something else?
Yeah. Well, it depends because, for example, if I have a problem or an issue, I try to look if there's already an existing issue about that. So also to don't open a million of duplicate issues. So yeah, using labels or maybe if I can't find anything using the label, I try to look using the description, try to use some words that I think that could be there if I am specifically looking for something. If I am just poking around and see if there's something that I can do, I just use issues, maybe sort the issues by popularity or something like that.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that. That's great. Anyone else want to share how they kind of go about looking at issues, or if you have any issues looking for issues, any anything that makes that challenging? Okay, cool. How about in terms of understanding what's required to be done? Any questions about that, or any when you're looking at issues, is that part of the sort of decision to contribute? Or is it usually pretty clear?
Well, if I've always speaking for myself, but if I find an issue that I'm interested in working on, and I try to read the description and the comments, and if there's something missing before jumping on, what everyone can do is just ask if there is something else if it's ready to. I mean, if there's the workflow label maybe ready for development or something like that, then everything should be already laid out. Otherwise, you can ping the people that already talked on the issue and see with them if the issue is actually ready to be worked on.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. Sounds like, yeah, looking at the labels, pinging people in a discussion, or if you find something that's missing. Yeah,
also just pinging the people that I talked about on that issue to let them know that you'd like to work on that, so maybe to be sure that no one else is going to work on the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. That's great.
I'll throw in 2 words. So yeah, I've only been working on one main issue for the most part, but I found the descriptions incredibly helpful and very, very thorough. So it's easy to get started. That was a huge blocker for me, is not knowing how to start and what area of the code to look at and things. So having examples and showing patterns in the code of saying, here's something that we've implemented similarly, that will give you a hint on how to do it. That's always very helpful when those are pointed out. And at work, it's not the case for me. So thankfully at GitLab issues, it's a lot more simple and yeah, straightforward, I feel, with getting started.
So yeah, thank you for that. Thanks for the feedback. All right, anyone else?
Well, another thing that if you find an issue that you would like to work on and you don't have the I don't want to say the knowledge, but you don't know where to start, you can always ask the people that commented on that issue to get some help and maybe have some advice on where to look for, on how you could try to work on that.
Awesome. Yeah, and usually I think it's probably fairly easy to figure out who's commenting on the issue, who might be an expert, right? Is that fair to say? Cool. Okay. Awesome. How about, we kind of touched upon this already. The next one was communicating with us. Just like how has that been for everyone? Has that been easy? Do you know who to reach out to? I think one of the benefits of these office hours is that you all know now, kind of both ways, but you all know now our faces and names, and you should feel free to ping us on issues to get more support. But just curious how that process has been for you all.
I've found communication very easy and straightforward. Every time I get stuck and I'm debating, do I ask a question or do I just keep trying? I should just ask the question, because every time it's incredibly helpful and I get a ton of information back that helps me move forward. But the only question I would have is, what are the expectations on the community side for timeline of responding to things? Because I notice GitLab members tend to respond within 24 to 48 hours, but I don't want to ping someone with a stupid thank you message, even though I've seen the message and then I'm going to work on it for the next week.
I do that every time.
We appreciate the thank you messages. Yeah, response time 30 minutes is the expected response time. Just kidding. Yeah, anyone want to comment on response time or expected response time?
I would say for community contributors, if you post something within a week, that would be great. 2 weeks is okay. And basically we will ping you once we, for example, want to take and finish the issue ourselves, just to check if you're still working on it. But other than that, like when you have time, answer. If you have other commitments, don't feel pressure to do that.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
You can become oh, sorry.
As Vlad kind of touched on, like as long as we're not actively trying to schedule the issue, response time is less of a problem, because if we're interested in scheduling it for like next month or something, then we want to make sure that you're not halfway through it or almost done it or anything, and we can schedule something else then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the other related thing, yeah, thanks for that question, Missy. That's a good one. I think the other related one that I've seen is, I think sort of what Andrew was touching upon, like if an issue or a feature has been working on, but then we don't hear back from the contributor and we were interested in working on it, like that's a little challenging, because we want to make sure that community contribution is completed, but we might also need to finish that feature. So I think even response saying like, oh, we don't have time to work on this anymore, or we change priorities or whatever it is, I think that's really what matters. So yeah. Cool. Any other questions or comments about communication with us? How about going through review? That's I know that's definitely one point where there's a lot of communication back and forth with us. Any questions or comments about that? So far, so good. All right. Vlad, you had the next few. These are great questions.
Yeah, I have a couple. I would start with the second one. I know that you all four, I guess, already worked on SummerMars. So if you would change a single thing in like the whole process of finding an issue, getting through review, what would you change? Like a single most important thing for you? Whatever pops in your head, like the first thing.
I really don't know because it works how it is now. I don't see any problem. So yeah, I don't really know what we could change to improve it.
Good to hear.
Siddharth, anything, any idea?
Yeah, I'm also good with what currently we are doing. So I also don't know what to say.
Okay, Missy.
I don't know if I have enough experience yet to know if there's something I would change. I feel like I'm still getting used to how things work, but so far everything's been rather smooth. So I have nothing to complain about, really.
Anshul? Sorry if I mispronounced your name.
If Anshul you cannot unmute, you can feel free. You can use the chat option here, and some people sometimes people are traveling, so it's not easy to unmute. So yeah, feel free to chat to send a message. We will verbalize.
Okay. I wonder if we fixed this thing with a 500 error when you create a merge request.
Yeah, that could be improved.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And my next. Oh.
There are workarounds on that.
Yeah, but still kind of. I know. I would say. Okay. And my second question was how each of you kind of started to contribute to GitLab. Why GitLab? Why what was your first issue? I guess I know the answer for the market because you need it at work, or not?
More or less, yes. But I could blame Lee because I opened a couple of issues and Lee reached out to me and we started working together on that, and it all started from there.
So it's basically another, I guess Lee is a member of the community core group, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So kind of another community contributor kind of paired with you and you started working on stuff.
Yeah, because I didn't know where to start because before opening the issues, I tried to have a look at the code and understand how I could do what I needed. But jumping straight into the GitLab code base without Ruby knowledge, Vue knowledge, or anything like that, it's impossible. So yeah, he walked through me on that, and then I started contributing all around, not only on those issues that I needed, but I kept contributing because I like the how could I say it, not the environment, but the collaborating with the people all around the world and seeing the results getting out every month. That's really motivating, I guess.
Interesting. I wonder if we can, I don't know, not streamline this approach, but I don't know, make it more common. Missy, what about you? How did you find this GraphQL issue? Why GitLab?
So I was interested in GitLab. I first heard of it from a friend who worked at GitLab. He since moved to a different company, but he always had amazing things to say about GitLab and the community. And once I switched into software engineering, I wanted to learn more about open source contribution. And GitLab does that so well. You're an emblem of and an icon for open source and remote work. So I wanted to get involved somehow and see how it's done properly. So I started coming to these office hours, and Christos actually helped me find the GraphQL issue. So it's taken me a while, but I will get it merged. It will get there slowly but surely.
Thanks for doing this, Christos. And Siddharth?
So I really don't remember my first MR, but it was like I started contributing in GitLab. Like it's been like 1 year. So like, I first got to know about GitLabs from Hacker News. Some of my friends told me it's like there's an open source project called GitLab. So like you should check it out. And like I made my first MR after attending the community office hours. And yesterday actually I crossed my personal goal of completing 200 merged MRs. So
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
200 MRs?
yeah.
Wow, great. Sorry, Blake, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I'm sure you can type in the chat if you don't want to unmute. Yeah, that was my last question, I guess. Thanks everybody for answering. That was really interesting.
Siddharth, did you tweet about your 200 MRs? If so, I would love to give some social traction to that. Feel free to share the link here or on the Git platform.
Yeah, I've tweeted it about on Twitter, so I'll share you.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you all for sharing that. I love hearing those stories and what motivates and why you how you heard about GitLab and why you want to contribute. Great question, Vlad. Okay, any other comments or feedback from you all? I know this is officer hours and we've been asking a lot of questions, but want to make sure you all get a chance about release stage, about UX front end, about any back end, about anything else. Since we're all here today, please feel free.
I have maybe a question, something that came up from the previous calls, and I'm always asking GitLab team members. So I've been getting a lot of questions from core contributors about if it would be possible to show how we are approaching, how we're solving specific things. I mean, from the thinking perspective, how you approach a solution, how you're solving the problem, up to maybe the actual code. Sometimes we've been trying to do some live coding session in the past with some other various GitLab team members, but it's always like interesting to see, okay, what that feature that your team, for example, developed last release, what is its purpose, how you thought about, what was the logic behind the approach that you took, and how you solved this X problem, for example.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Maybe for a future call, I'm just saying.
Definitely, yeah. Anyone, just quick show of hands or emoji reactions, would that be interesting for the folks on the call? Yeah, Marco, let's see. Cool. Yeah, let's do it. That's a great idea. I like the idea of just I like the idea of also doing it, as you said, the path, like a recent feature, because there's a lot of I mean, as everyone knows, we're in software, there's a lot of decisions and trade-offs and design things that we considered, and probably many options that we considered. And then so yeah, a lot of that is in the issue, which is great. But also there's definitely more detail that we can share. And like you said, Christos, the live the code walkthrough is also could be really interesting. Yeah, sounds good.
I'm
I've got a
also,
question. Oh, go ahead, Emily. Sorry.
no worries. I was also going to say, I know we do a brainstorm session in release too, and I'd be curious if like just that process or opening up like a brainstorm session during one of the office hours could be interesting for people as well, to bring ideas and then just chat through kind of how we land on certain ideas we land on.
Yeah. I like that too.
I wonder if we discuss something which is not public on this brainstorm meetings, but let me see, you had some question before, Emily.
Yes, I just wanted to ask, what is the history of the release team? Has it always been organized this way, or has this kind of been born out of something else, out of necessity?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've been here for a year, just over a year. And since I've been here, it's been this way. But I know, and others, Shinya, Vlad, others have been around longer, actually. And so they've probably seen the evolution of the of the group. In general, we're organized by like DevOps stage. So like right now we're the one group that yeah, story time with Shinya, sure. Maybe the next topic, next meeting. So right now we're the one engineering team, we call them groups, that build features for the release stage. Prior to this organization, the release stage was composed of 2 different groups focused on the different categories that we have. So yeah, I think it's evolved over time. Right now, yeah, this is sort of like, this is where we're at today. But I think like any company, teams change, teams grow, so on. Yeah, Shinya or Vlad, if there's anything else interesting about our history, feel free to share.
Yeah, the brief history is that when I joined Gitlab, I don't know, like 5-6 years ago, there's only CI/CD group, which took care of all of the CI/CD features. And then, yeah, I joined this group, and it was growing that we shipped tons of features. Yeah, by the way, I also used to be a community contributor before I joined Gitlab. They also have a blog post about this. So like if you're curious, please read about that. But anyways, so there's a CI/CD group, and then we split up because the feature categories grew so much, and then split into verify group and release group, in which we are now today. The verify group has more subgroups today, but we are here release group as it is. So that's a brief history.
I like that question. Yeah, thanks, Shinya.
I just found the blog and posted it to the chat. I hope it's the right one, Shinya, just Googled. If anybody is interested.
Okay, any last questions or comments? We're right at time here. And it sounds like we already have a few really interesting ideas for future topics. Again, we want to continue to do this monthly, as long as it's useful for everyone and as long as everyone's interested, and as long as we have topics. So please feel free to suggest more topics in the issue that we had for today's office hours, if you think of anything else, or if you have any other feedback. And then, as always, we'll continue to post on Meetup, and we have planning issues for each of these. So look out for those for future sessions. And with that, thank you all for joining. Thank you for the questions and sharing about GitLab and contributing. Really love hearing those stories. And we'll see you next month. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.